Oh. Hey. Breathe, guys. All right.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
There. All right. Right. Hey. Forward. Arch.
All right, Mr. Richards, if you wouldn't mind calling the roll call.
Sure. Mr. Moses,
Here.
Mr. Drew,
Here.
Miss Berkmeyer,
Here.
Mr. Vinatieri. Mr. Richards is here, Miss Knox.
Here.
And Mr. Green.
Here. All right, let's continue. Let's get started with the agenda. Our student congress update is, Mr. Farley is here. So what do you have for us tonight, sir?
Good evening, members of the Board of Education and Superintendent Jankowski. We had a lot of fun in today's meeting. We enjoyed hot chocolate and holiday cookies. Santa surprised us with a visit. We sang a couple of songs and received a candy treat from him. After Santa left, we were honored with the task of voting for the first ever winner of the administration office staff ugly sweater contest. It was a close vote as some of the sweaters were pretty ugly. The winner was Emily McCovey, the district data director. After the excitement of the ugly sweater contest, we were visited by Mrs. DePepe, the district safety director. She shared with us the importance of school safety and what we can do to help Anchor Bay School District safe. We will not meet in the month of January due to exams. With that being said, I only have a few updates for you today. All of the elementary schools had Santa shops or Merry markets. Lighthouse had a pizza with Santa night, while Naldrit hosted cookies with Santa. Beginning January 6th at the high school, BPA will be hosting a bottle or can return fundraiser. Please feel free to drop off your clean, empty bottles and cans at the high school security office. Decker participated in districts last weekend. All the buildings enjoyed holiday performances by their band or choirs. The high school student council took a visit to the Village of East Harbor retirement home and enjoyed karaoke, crafts, and chocolate with the residents. They also hosted a staff luncheon earlier this afternoon for the staff. That is all I have for you this month. Thank you, and I wish you all a happy and healthy holiday season.
Thank you. Same to you, sir. All right, next up on the agenda is board member recognition. We have two board members that are attending their last board member meeting after 6 years of dedication to the district. And it's greatly appreciated not only by myself and Superintendent Jankowski, but everyone else that sits up here, as well as the parents and families of Anchor Bay students. And although we, as a board, didn't always agree, whether it was here or behind closed doors, I truly believe that you both had the desire was to do the right thing for students. And that's why we argued so vehemently and aggressively and didn't always agree, but we always shook hands at the end of the meeting and walked out the door. And that says a lot because we dealt with some pretty intense issues, especially COVID, hiring of a new superintendent, and all of those things that came with that. So as a small token of our appreciation, we've got some stainless steel cups up for you guys. There is one less Reese's tree in each one of them, and I'm going to apologize. I didn't eat dinner and they were sitting right here. So I guess at this point, why don't each of you meet myself and Superintendent Jankowski out front? We'll give you the presentation of the cup and we'll get a picture for the scrapbook. Sound fair? And actually, why don't you guys all join us up there? We've been together for some of us for 6 years, some just a little less. You're welcome. I don't want to be picking up something. I mean, it's a good thing we both wore red.
A little more Christmassy, yeah.
Go back here in the short part of the short bus, apparently. Well, that may be true as well.
There we go. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right, moving on. At this time, I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion by Ms. Knox, supported by Mr. Moses. Comments, questions? Happy holidays. Comments, questions, or concerns? Hearing none, Mr. Secretary, would you call the roll?
Ms. Knox,
Yes.
Mr. Moses,
Yes.
Mr. Drew,
Yes.
Ms. Berkmeyer,
Yes.
Mr. Vinatieri,
Yes.
Richards is a yes, Mr. Green.
Yes. Motion carries. Item F on the agenda is the superintendent's update. Mr. Jankowski?
Presentation, basically give you an update on the bond. Give you an update on the bond and where we're at, because now we're transitioning from the high school to the middle schools and Lighthouse. So most of the work, the next phase of the bond will be what will become the 5th grade portion of it. And so that's broken into this 3 sections, A, B, and C. Let's see if I can advance it. You know, it works before the BD, and then Tim, can you just advance the slide? Oh, okay.
Oh, boy.
Okay, so section A, this would be the northwest corner of the building, northeast. And so this is the life skills, and then what is the current counseling office, and then some classrooms. And the basic premise is we are looking to make these classrooms that are typically about 640 square feet to enlarge those to about 1,000 square feet, so that teachers have the opportunity to have more flexibility, have students work in groups, do centers if they so choose. So the first phase is that we're looking on what we could potentially do in order to kind of begin the work early, because we know we have an August 20th hard stop on this. So we're looking, if possible, that we can have section A and do what we did with the high school, section that off from the rest of the school, begin that work, and then kind of have that knocked out. So, because this is really one of the heavy duty areas of the construction. Section B and section C are not as intensive, but they would basically follow the same pattern, and that would take place entirely in the summer. Again, even the work that starts before the school lets out, that would be taking place on second shift. So therefore, it wouldn't interfere with the school day. They would come in after the school day ends and then start working at that point. The other part of it that they are looking to start early would be the playground area. So we met with the site work contractor earlier this week. And again, all of these this is all tentative. Nothing's been final. They've been going in the buildings, looking at sections, looking at what makes the most sense to kind of get started on. Here's a rendering of what that playground is going to look like. So what you can see is there's a walking path that goes around the outside. We surveyed the students, and this is feedback from there. So there is then the center area. There are seating areas that they wanted. The octagon that you see there is a Gaga pit, swings to the right, then a wiffle ball field for the students. There's a covered pavilion that can be used not only for students during recess time, but also as an outdoor classroom. Then a pickleball court, although now we've sent this out for feedback and the request was, can we get 2 pickleball courts? So we're looking at, can we fit that in? And then a basketball court. So then students would have an opportunity. They have a smaller field, a larger field, because football was one of the things that the students wanted. So this would basically, all the things that the students kind of gave to us, we're able to fit within that field. Questions on this?
I have one with this new this new diagram, I guess.
Yes.
During recess, are you going to have something blocking the access to drive around?
Yeah, so there will be gates that will be placed at each entryway in order to keep people from going in the back.
All right, thank you.
Then moving on, middle school south, there's just one major area that is, we know by combining that they would need space for the band. So as soon as the auto shop area is relocated to the high school, we would take the current auto shop area, and a part of that would end up being the new band room. We had looked at, if you're familiar with South, they currently have a band room, but it has cement tiers in there. So it's kind of like a lecture hall, and it just doesn't flow well for the kids. It's small to begin with. So this would give us basically directly across the hallway from there. They would end up having the band room. So it'd still be in the same vicinity. And then we would also begin part of the actual auto shop. It will be a small engine repair class. And then the front portion of it will actually be a storage area that we'll be able to use for district needs. Also, as part of that, we will do some upgrades to the outside area. There's the storage building that you can see in the middle. That's the middle box. The current restrooms that are out there. And then over as part of, in conjunction with the walkway project that we've been talking about with Chesterfield, we'll also add a storage building, and we'll do some updates there as well that were approved last month. Then Lighthouse, the goal is, right now the thinking is to start with what's half of what's the oldest wing. It's the original wing for the district that was built in 49. So this is what we are calling kind of the Washington wing. So that's the purple box there. So our technology department is housed there now. There's a teacher workroom that would become the main office for the ECSC. So then we could have a separate entrance for ECSC versus the regular early childhood. And we have some restrooms that's in the kind of the pink or the magenta box that they have not been used now. They've basically been storage rooms. So we're just going to make them storage rooms and take out the toilets and sinks and everything, and then just cap those off, use that as a storage area. And then as part of it, we would begin just updating the classrooms. We're not, because it's going to be used as early childhood, we are not like changing walls very much, except for in that yellow box that will end up being offices for the ancillary staff. So that's, otherwise for the classrooms, it's pretty much new flooring, new lighting, updated electrical, and then if we paint and so on. And then we'll redo the hallways as well. We were looking at the other wing that we call the Willie wing, which is to the right. We have some of the similar drainage issues that we had with Great Oaks. So that we can't necessarily start earlier or do anything in a short piece of time. That'll kind of follow the same thing that we did at Great Oaks. We'll do that over the summer, have to trench out that hallway and then fix it's a roof drain that we believe is not connected or broken underneath. And then that will help alleviate some of the flooding issues that we've had. So again, this is still tentative. They're still in their the kind of like discovery phase of what can we do, because the goal is let's handle the things that we can handle. And again, it'll be as part of they'll do it outside of the regular school day. The other thing that, as part of this, in front of those classrooms, we'll be adding a small playground that will be for ECSC, and it'll be fenced in. And so they have direct access to that. And then at a later date, as we go on, that kind of enclosed area that's surrounded on three sides outside the library will become another playground for early childhood. So then we'll have age appropriate areas, and it'll be near the classrooms that they're using. So all of our programs can kind of share them at that point. The last thing that we've been working on is furniture. So with these new spaces, what we're looking at is that we would, the concept is not to go with built-ins, because they tend not to, they're very expensive and they really reduce your flexibility that you have in a class. So to work on storage and everything, so now teachers can really have the ability to move their class around. So they're basically individual student desks, but they can arrange them in different configurations so that the kids can work in groups. And these are just some of them. When we do this, we start with, these are the smallest 2 classrooms that are in those areas. So as a proof of concept, so basically teachers would be able to pick from, this is the storage units that they have, this is the teacher desk, these are the desks that they have, and then and everything will be on casters except for the chairs. That was the feedback that we had, was they didn't want students to be able to roll around and have races or anything like that. So easy to move, easy to realign, because in a lot of the classrooms that you see now, if you look in the upper right-hand corner, teachers, if they're doing centers, they can now use these storage units. Some will be high, some will be low. They can kind of section off the class. So you have a reading corner here, you have the teacher help station here. You're working on these different things, because that's how many of the elementary teachers have been working. And that is all for my update.
Anybody, any questions, comments, concerns?
Did I see a December 17th start date on there? Is it?
December 17th was when we had the meeting on to kind of start having the discussions on what they want to plan. So they've been going through the buildings now, and they'll probably continue that over break in order to kind of really get in and look at, okay, what are we going to do here? Does it make sense to do this area? Right now, this is the best thinking that we have.
Thanks.
Anyone else? All right, hearing none, we'll move on to item G, hearing of the public. Those who wish to address the board on agenda items may complete a brief request stating their name, address, and the subject of their comments. Remarks about specific employees should be directed to them personally and not included in the public forum. Administration will follow up with these concerns within 48 hours of the board meeting. Please limit comments to 3 minutes. I have one person who has requested to address the board, and I'm going to apologize if I say your last name incorrectly, but it looks Tia Lauren. And if you want to step over to the podium there, we'll make sure your microphone's on so we capture your thoughts.
Hello, can you guys hear me? Thank you. Hi, good evening, and thank you for allowing me to speak. My name is Tia Lorian. I am Blaze Lorian's stepmom. Dad is here with me as well. And although we did express our response to you guys based on the recent decision that you guys had made, we're here to advocate for Blaze and to support him again, and to advocate and to express ourselves in person. So we are continuously very disappointed in your decision as school board members not to expel a child who threatened to shoot my child at school. So this decision not only impacts Blaze and our family, but also sends a troubling message to the other families and students in the school. By allowing a student to return after such a threat, you are failing to prioritize the safety and the well-being of all the other students and families of Anchor Bay. Again, I strongly encourage you guys as school board members to reflect on the decision, the potential consequences, and to educate yourself on the impact of the victims. Please do better next time.
Thank you. All right, seeing no one else, we'll move on. Item H, is communications.
No communications.
Item I is consent agenda. Items on the consent agenda are of a recurring nature and are voted on as a single item. If any board member may request an item be removed without a vote of the board, and it will be discussed and voted on individually. The recommended action is that the Board of Education approve the consent agenda, the minutes, the personnel report, financial reports, and the bills payable. I will entertain a motion at this time.
I'll
To
make
do
a
so.
motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Moses, supported by Ms. Knox. Comments, questions, or concerns? Mr. Richards?
Mr. Moses,
Yes.
Ms. Knox,
Yes.
Mr. Drew.
Yes.
Ms. Burkmeyer,
Yes.
Mr. Vinatieri,
Yes.
Richards is a yes. Mr. Green,
Yes. Motion carries. Moving on down into new business. The first item on that agenda is a policy reading. And Miller Johnson has recommended that we make updates to our policies, and I will just list the policies. There is no action needed by the board tonight. The policies are in your packet. And certainly if you have any questions after I'm done reading them, we can discuss them, or if somebody from policy would want to address any of them, that would be fine. Unfortunately, I couldn't make the meeting last week. The first recommendation is the curriculum language clarification for Title I, Policy 3001. The second recommendation is conditions of employment, change in law, Policy 4003. The third recommendation is evaluation, discipline, and discharge and resignations, change in law, Policy 4004. Recommendation number 4 is food service meal charge update, Policy 5008. And the last recommendation for Miller Johnson is the budget planning and adoption fund balance minimum, Policy 5002. So again, there's no action needed by the board tonight unless somebody wants to have a discussion or ask something of the policy committee that met last week. I think that Jill was telling me I was cut off. Did you notice I sped up when I heard it?
Timer up, sorry.
Anybody, any comments or questions or concerns before we move on?
we need to read that entirely at the second reading.
Do I need to read the entire policies?
That change? Yeah.
No, sir. They're provided to you in writing.
Okay.
Now, should you decide as a member of the policy committee that you wish to have to read them, I would welcome that. No?
Is that the timer?
You got 3 minutes to read all of
I
that.
can read that.
And it's attorney speak, so good luck. All right, moving on down the list, we've got a couple of field trips to approve. And for whatever reason, those particular motions were taken out of my packet. Thank you. I thought maybe they got pulled. The first field trip is a wrestling field trip. Wrestling athletes will be attending an overnight tournament in Grand Rapids on January 17th and January 18th. They will travel by bus. Parents and coaches will be attending. The recommended action from administration is the Board of Education approve the wrestling field trips to Grand Rapids, January 17th and 18th, 2025 for an overnight tournament. I will entertain a motion to that effect.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. DeRue, supported by Mr. Vendatelli. Any comments, questions, or concerns? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. The second field trip is a HOSA field trip for the HOSA States competition, April 16th through 19th, 2025 at the Grand Traverse Resort in Traverse City. 11 students and 2 chaperones will be attending. The recommended action from administration is the Board of Education approve HOSA travel for state competition on April 16th and 19th, 2025 to Grand Traverse Resort in Traverse City. I will entertain a motion to that effect.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Ms. Knox, supported by Mr. DeRue. Any comments, questions, or concerns on that field trip?
Yes, how are they traveling? By themselves or like in their own cars? Or are they traveling by bus?
I believe that they are traveling by bus.
Okay.
Is 2 to I think it's like a 5-to-1 ratio chaperone to student. Is that enough, do you think?
Yes. Normally it's 10 to 1 is what we're looking for. So
Did you say 10-1, superintendent?
Yeah, it's Joe.
Okay. Does that change when you talk about elementary kids versus high school kids?
Normally,
Because with 10,
well, normally for
elementary kids are
elementary,
going
it
30
depends on the
kids.
trip if they're going out, and then normally we have many parents that are
Right.
chaperoning with that. This one, it's 2 chaperones because those are the instructors.
okay. Anyone else? All right, no more questions. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. All right, item 3 under new business, the EPA Clean Bus. The 2024 Clean Bus Rebate Program is available to the district again this year. The application is due January 9, 2025. As was the case last year, the EPA will likely award $200,000 in rebates for each electric bus purchased by the district. The state is also providing significant grant funding for the purchase of electric buses and the charging infrastructure associated with such. The end result is the district is able to purchase the buses at no cost to the district. The district is looking to purchase another 3 buses in 2025. The recommended action is that the Board of Education receive the school board awareness certificate is required to be signed by the board's representative and submitted as part of the grant application. The awareness certification is intended to ensure the board is aware of the district's desire to purchase the electric buses. So essentially, the motion is to authorize a member of the board to sign the awareness certificate, indicating that each of us understands that we are pursuing this, this grant. With that being said, I will entertain a motion to that effect.
I'll second.
All right, I got a motion by Mr. Drew, supported by Mr. Vendatelli. So I'm going to have Todd grab part of this. Either way. So Todd's been working kind of feverishly on this program. So if we have some questions, I thought he would be the best one to handle, especially your question.
No, it's really just certifying that we've made you aware. So certainly a vote would be fine. I'm not even sure you would have to vote. It's just essentially certifying that we have made you aware that we are pursuing this funding.
Yeah, normally it's the secretary and the board president that sign.
Todd, for 200,000, can you give me a ballpark how many buses we can purchase? How many electric buses that gets us?
Well, we would make application for 3 additional buses. You may remember last year we applied for 3 buses, so this would total 6. An electric bus depends on the size, of course, of the bus, but for a 79 passenger bus was about $408,000 for a bus. They are considerably more than a diesel or gasoline powered bus, like 3 to 4 times the cost. We're also looking at potentially with this round of funding, looking at an 89 passenger or 3 89 passenger buses. So the cost would go up from there. So $450,000 would be my guesstimate if I had to give you one in terms of what the individual cost would be per bus. And that includes, the extended warranty and some of the bells and whistles that the state of Michigan has encouraged each district who's going to go through this to make sure that they have that extended warranty to cover all of the battery related pieces of the electric bus.
Todd, DTE is partnering with us on some level too, correct?
Yeah.
What is their involvement again?
Yeah, so we had a really good situation. It's that's been a little challenging lately because we've got to get it installed. I think we're going to make it by December 31st. But yeah, we were approached by DTE with a great opportunity to where they were going to pay for all of the infrastructure to charge the buses. Our piece of the agreement was that we would allow them to monitor and allow for bi-directional charging of the bus. And so what does that mean? It means that we would use their electricity to charge the bus, and then during peak hours when we're not necessarily utilizing the bus, let's say the summertime, they would be able to potentially pull energy back out of that bus battery and put it into the grid. And so they want to study the efficiency of that. So we are the first district in the state of Michigan to have entered into that agreement with DTE. The advantage to us is DTE has been very much a driver of making sure that we were getting the infrastructure and the chargers installed in a timely fashion. We've heard horror stories across the state of Michigan where it has taken upwards of 18 months to get a charger and the infrastructure installed necessary to power the charger, to power the bus. So we've made this happen in about 3 months, and it's largely because DTE is, partnered with us in this endeavor.
Are they gonna provide a charging station for each bus we have, even if we increase the number of buses, or?
So
how-
I think that we will probably not have, they provided 3 chargers for the initial 3 buses. We will likely not have that same arrangement going forward. We will certainly pursue that with DTE and see if they're interested. But we would have funding from either the state or the EPA that isn't also intended to cover the cost of those chargers.
Any other questions, comments, concerns? So I did put this out as a motion, so I think I'm going to leave it that way, just because this is a commitment on behalf of the district, and do a roll call vote with kind of the amendment, if Mr. DeRue and Mr. Vinatelli are okay with it, that we're going to be authorizing Mr. Richards to sign this awareness certification. Are you guys okay with that? Great. Any additional questions before we move on? Hearing none, could you call the roll?
Yes. Mr. DeRue,
Yes.
Mr. Vinatieri,
Yes.
Mr. Moses.
Yes.
Ms. Berkmeyer. Richards is a yes. Ms. Knox.
Yes.
And Mr. Green.
Yes, motion carries. Thanks, Todd. All right, moving on to item 3. Item 3 for tonight is a closed session to discuss student discipline pursuant to the Open Meetings Act, Section 8B. So I will entertain a motion at this time to go into closed session.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Drew, supported by Mr. Vinatelli. Comments, questions, or concerns? Hearing none, if you could call the roll, sir.
Mr. DeRue,
Yes.
Mr. Vinatieri,
Yes.
Mr. Moses.
Yes.
Ms. Berkmeyer. Richards is a yes. Ms. Knox
Yes.
and Mr. Green.
Yes, motion carries. We will be into closed session at 7:35 PM. All right, very good. I will entertain a motion to come back out of closed session into open session.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Vinatelli, supported by Ms. Knox. Any comments, questions, or concerns? Hearing none, at 10:22 PM, we are officially back into open session. At this time, I will open up to the pleasure of the board if anybody wishes to make a motion.
I would like to make a motion regarding student number 07977. Motion to expel through the 2024-2025 school year. Do I need to say the conditions?
Yes, please.
With the following conditions. 1, to pursue and successfully complete online courses for the remainder of the school year. 2, attend sensitivity training as provided by Anchor Bay. And 3, no interactions with law enforcement.
Is there a support?
I'll support.
All right, motion by Ms. Knox, supported by Mr. Vinatelli. I will open it up to questions, comments, or concerns about student 07977. All right, hearing none, we will move on to a roll call vote, sir, if you would.
Ms. Knox,
Yes.
Mr. Vinatieri,
Yes.
Mr. Moses,
I have to abstain for personal reasons.
Mr. DeRue,
Yes.
Ms. Berkmeyer.
Abstain.
Mr. Richards is a yes. Mr. Green.
Yes. Motion carries. I again will open the floor up for any motions that the board wishes to put forth.
I have a motion. For student number 04950, to expel through the 2024-2025 school year with the following conditions. 1, pursue and successfully complete online courses. 2, attend sensitivity training as provided by Anchor Bay. And 3, no interactions with law enforcement.
Do I have support?
I'll support.
Motion by Ms. Knox, supported by Mr. Vendatelli. Comments, questions, or concerns about 04950? Hearing none, Mr. Richards, if you call the roll.
Ms. Knox,
Yes.
Mr. Vinatieri,
Yes.
Mr. Moses,
Abstain.
Mr. Drew,
Yes.
Ms. Berkmeyer.
Abstain.
Richards is a yes, and Mr. Green.
Yes, motion carries. All right, moving on to item 4 on our agenda, points of pride. And we will start with you, Mr. Drew.
Just want to say, it's been a great 6 years. It's been an up and down. We've been through a lot over the last 6 years, but I think this board's on the right track. We got a great superintendent in here. I've learned a lot being on this board. I've had a lot of fun banter with a lot of you. Apologize for any hurt feelings that might have been there over the years. I know Lisa and I will be best friends going forward. And Mr. Jankowski, or Superintendent Jankowski, it's great to have you here. And I love what you're doing with the district, and we're on the way up. So thanks, everybody. It's been an honor to serve the students and the parents of this district. Hasn't always been easy, but it's been a good time. Thank you.
Mr. Vinatelli, Mr. Moses.
I've said same sentiment as John. It's been a crazy ride. Just look forward every day to working with you guys. But I think the community made a good choice. They have some really good people coming on board, and be anxious to see how you guys go, and want to congratulate them because they got a big job. So,
Ms. Knox.
I want to say thank you to Mike and John. Mike's always super welcoming when we come in. When I first started, always with a handshake. John, on the other hand, challenged me like my very first meeting, which is also appreciated because I got to feel actually a bit more comfortable that way. So I appreciate you both and what you've taught me. My point of pride is our assistant superintendent, Todd Rathbun's sweater today. His sweater says, "Why is the carpet all wet, Todd?" And it's from National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. You may have heard me chuckle at an inappropriate time during the meeting. That's because I read his sweater. So great job on the sweater, Todd.
Ms.
And
Berkmeyer.
everyone have a Merry Christmas.
Oh, thank you. Ms. Berkmeyer.
Just to hope everybody has a good holiday season and a restful break.
If you must, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Green. I'd like to thank the JROTC and the National Honor Society for the help collecting toys for the New Baltimore Goodfellows, and also thank you to the JROTC for helping sell the Goodfellow newspapers to raise money for the Goodfellows program. The JROTC has been very busy, by the way. I wish our student talked a little bit about it. I'd like to thank them for participating in the New Baltimore Reads Across America. The Anchor Bay Nautical Shop has some great Christmas specials going on. Your last extended hour day is to the 20th. They're open from 6 to 7:30. 2025 hoodies are in also. Congratulations to Middle School North Student of the Month, 6th grade Riley Johnson, 7th grade Gracelyn Elwartowski, and 8th grade Gracie Genrich. I'd like to thank the Transportation Department that helped hand out hot cocoa and candy canes at the Jingle Bell Run. Thank you for your dedication to our community. I'd like to recognize the Anchor Bay High School Student Council members that went to visit the village of East Harbor to spread holiday cheer. The students made crafts and sang Christmas carols with residents. The Skilled Trades Fair is January 16th from 6 to 7:30 at the Anchor Bay High School. All ages are welcome. Congratulations to Anchor Bay bands Gavin Valor, Braden Washburn for being accepted to MSBOA All-State Ensembles. Gavin will perform in the All-State Band and Braden will perform with the All-State Orchestra as part of the Michigan Music Conference. I'd like to thank the high school seniors Tyler Finkbeiner and Jerry Hansen for participating in the middle school Celts presentation about becoming 1% better every day. Also, thank you to Ms. Killinger and Ms. Traub for presenting as well. The JROTC is starting a middle school club at the Middle School South. They will be meeting on Mondays in January and February. Contact the JROTC instructors if you're interested. Applications will be accepted for second semester School of Choice students, January 11th through the 24th. Second semester School of Choice is available for kindergarten through 10th grade. I'd like to recognize Ms. Sheridan's Middle School South Makerspace students that created and made the new Learning Lab sign at Neldred Elementary School. Awesome job. Congratulations to Jerry Hansen for being named first team All-State. This prestigious recognition highlights his outstanding talent, hard work, and dedication throughout the season. My points of pride this month, I want to thank Mr. DeRue, Mr. Moses, 6 years. Thank you very much for everything you guys have done for our school district. I will say always putting the students first. And, I know, we may have debated here and there, but at the end of the day, I believe that you guys help make our district a better district. So thank you.
I would have to agree with that. John, Mike, appreciate your guys' last 6 years. I know the countless hours aside from sitting here in a meeting for an hour that you guys put into things and catching up and being involved in the community. So 6 years is a long time. And like everyone else has mentioned, the debate we had sometimes frustrated the hell out of me, but your heart was in the right place. You had the desire to improve the district. And sometimes we didn't always see eye to eye on how to get there, but I think we got there. A point of pride is the Middle School North Choir performed at the Christmas tree lighting for downtown New Baltimore. If you haven't seen the tree down there, it's beautiful, right at the corner of Alfred and Washington. Just make sure you drive around it, not through it. And also want to give some kudos to the Great Oaks School. Each school was invited to decorate a tree that was in the Burke Park, downtown New Baltimore. And the Great Oaks tree was selected as the winner of the contest. So I appreciate that as well. And I also want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And be safe over the holidays. And with that, I will turn it over to the superintendent if there are any legislative updates.
There are not many. Nobody knows what's going to happen. They couldn't get a quorum. There are about 65 bills that are pending in lame duck. So today they couldn't get quorum in either the House or the Senate. Tomorrow they're supposed to have the House in session, but nobody knows how that's going to play out. Tomorrow is basically the last day for, if anything doesn't get out of there, because it has to sit for 5 days. So the last session day is the 23rd. So if nothing gets out, then that'll be the end of lame duck. So could be a lot. They tried to have a session. They were going to get 100 bills they wanted to get out, and then one member left, so they didn't have quorum. So therefore that stopped it at if there are like 65 bills. So it is anybody's guess.
All right. Board committee updates. Anybody have anything they want to share with the board we haven't already talked about tonight? All right. Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion by Ms. Knox, supported by Mr. Moses. Any comments, questions, or concerns? All those in favor of going home signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Meeting adjourned at 10:32.